Welcome back to the ESPN HOOPS HITS podcast, presented by Tab. I am the Scope, joined by my man, the Grub. And, Grubby, I told you about play-in specialists, Miami Heat, the first 10 seed to get into the playoffs. Yeah, we lost the game against the Cavs, but we'll be there. We're going to take them all the way down to the wire. Heat culture, baby.
So you're going back a game to brag about, but you already lost in between there.
Hey, no one expected us to be there, and I keep telling you about our playoff credentials, how we're always we got that dog mentality.
Yep.
And my man Jimmy Buckets, he's gone to another team, but I'm still supporting him from far. He can go and win the West. We'll win the East.
And I reckon you're going to have a nice little chat about one of our topics and be very happy about it too. One of the first ones. You predicted it.
So today, we're going to be talking a lot about the playoffs. I want to talk about Dyson Daniels and the season of absolute doom he's having over there. He's nominated for 2 awards at the end of the season. Nico Harrison, he just does it again. His comments at the presser could be worse than the trade, and that's saying a lot. Then we talk about Curry v. LeBron again. Then we talk about Curry versus Kobe. That one I'm a little bit split on.
Yeah.
And then we'll also talk about the draft. So we've got Travis Hunter was asked about whether he wanted to play, if he's willing to play one position, and we've got his reaction to that. And then for the pick 6 this week, I'm going to get the phone out. I'm going to jump on Tab, and I'm going to give you the pick 5. Top 5 picks in the NFL draft coming up this weekend. Live.
And exclusive.
And I've got some value too. Responsibly, of course.
Yeah, because I feel I've had a little look and there's a couple of short things. So you're going against the tide.
I'm going against the tide.
I love that.
And you know what? If you're able to jag one early and go against the tide, then you do get the trickle effect of the value. So there's a little teaser for people who are going to watch a little bit later on. But let's kick it off with Left on Red as per. This one comes from Facebook, and it comes from Mizra Alagic. And what did Devin Booker do to Luka? Yeah, this story will be the same outcome. Cool pick, but Luka is about to average a trip dub and 45 a game. Luka still went off, but not enough to beat the Timberwolves. And you're right, I did say Timberwolves are the Smokies, and they get the job done. If it's going to be Lakers in 5, they need to go 4 straight. It needs to be a gentleman's sweep.
All I'm going to say is, what is that? What is that sign?
That's 6 again.
Is it gunning, not gunning?
Spider-Man?
Because we've spoken. Is that what it's?
I think it's the Spidey.
Okay.
Spidey senses.
Well, Edwards can do whatever he wanted in that game because he was absolutely unstoppable. For the Timberwolves to go, he's the man. And like you said, Doncic played well, but LeBron and even Reeves, they weren't there at all. They were cold as. So I suppose, to me, watching that game, the Lakers looked a little bit frustrated. You know, there has been a big question on their defense this year, and they just didn't look like they wanted to defend. And the Timberwolves, awesome on the 3-point shot. That's what they're the best in the NBA. But can they do it? Can they do it
When teams like this drop and they're sinking, they're very hard to stop. I found it interesting the way that they did Luka. So he scored well, and he had a lot of one-on-ones. When I think back to the series last year in the NBA Finals where the Boston Celtics sort of just pestered him. I know they put Drew Holiday on him for a little bit, and he locked him down at times. But it felt like the Oklahoma City Thunder have done it with success in the past where they've double-teamed him and forced other people to shoot. They were willing to let Luka score, but not let him stack up the stat sheet and have the assists and the rebounds, and they're physical with him. And they didn't really allow him to assist those 3-point shots and also knock down the 3. So that was the key in game 1. But that's going to be a really good series. And I think there's another good series brewing in the West as well with the Nuggets versus Clippers.
Well, for me, like I'm literally just a fan. I would think to do the other way, stop him from scoring and allow the other stuff because like LeBron and they went on.
Yeah.
And if you leave them to do the scoring, look, maybe don't leave it to LeBron, but a few other people. I don't know.
That's why I found it interesting, the strategy. Like maybe they thought, and Bron was happy to play, and he has been like for all the knocks that I've got on LeBron, he's happy to let Luka be Batman for the majority of the time and really be able to flick the switch. But because Luka was still scoring, it's like LeBron still let him play, but it was at maybe the detriment of the rest of the guys like LeBron and Reeves. So it's a really interesting series. I think it's going to be a 6 or 7 gamer, and we'll see how that plays out. And like I said, I like what's happening over at the Nuggets and the Clippers too. They're 1-1 in their series as well. All right, this one comes from Steph Muse. The next one, agree or disagree? I'd argue in LeBron's GOAT decade, Steph Curry was the best player. And that comes from the Big Cat from Barstool Sports. Curry becomes the oldest point guard to score 30-plus in the playoffs. If the Warriors win the ship, is Steph greater than LeBron? And is Jimmy Buckets the ultimate playoff player?
It's an interesting point, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've never thought about it like this because all I ever hear is LeBron versus Jordan. That's all we ever hear, the GOAT question. But if Steph wins another ring, he's got more than LeBron with 3 pretty much totally different squads as well. He had the KD era, which is that's an elite team.
Yep.
But his other squads, like
people put an asterisk next to that one because they reckon they don't like that one.
But do you?
But then also, if you're from the LeBron hating side of it, the asterisks of teaming up with teams in Miami, the part that I like more about Steph is he stayed at the one team and people have come to him, where LeBron's had to go chase. That's the part that I haven't liked. But at the end of the day, they're both on 4, and if one of them goes to 5, then I know championships aren't everything. Like when you think about guys like Robert Horry and players who have been role players in teams and still got championships, and we're going to talk about an Aussie who won a multiple championship without being the dude. But I think championships matter for the top guys because they win championships because of those guys. The role players don't count as much. So this is a huge final series because these two, LeBron, it's got a 5-year head start on Steph Curry, but these two, if they're able to pull this off, would be crazy this year.
Well, you're right, but is it just because of how the media spin it for LeBron? Because Steph's the best shooter ever. Ever. Surely that's got to mean something. So I just think, we speak about longevity and LeBron's 40, Steph's 37. So you think Steph's going to go even longer. What if he gets 2 more? Is he better than LeBron?
Yeah. It's interesting to see where Steph will go long term as well because he doesn't play with the physicality of LeBron as well. Because he's a shooter, he's more of an endurance basketball player.
Yeah.
He just runs around the court. Very rarely, I know Houston were trying to rough him up a little bit early in that game, but he just outworks people where LeBron, he has to get down on the post sometimes. He has to defend the best player.
Yeah.
It's not his bread and butter, but in big occasions, he'll sometimes get posted up on a center. So physically, LeBron takes more than Steph too. So it'll be interesting to see who plays longer out of the two once it's all said and done.
I've heard Steph talk about retirement more than LeBron.
Yeah, so have I.
That's the only thing. So maybe Steph will go till 40 and LeBron might still be going at 43.
All right, what about Steph? Let's change the flick over from Steph versus LeBron versus Steph versus Kobe Bryant. Now, Steph Curry is the greatest pound-for-pound NBA player you've ever seen. Now, I think we're getting a little bit carried away with Steph here at the moment too. They're 1-0 up in the series against Houston. Got to win the series first. If they're able to win this series against a 2 seed, against a young, energetic team, then they become a very scary proposition.
Yep.
In my opinion, they're always a bad matchup, but it's not a bad argument if you're arguing Steph against LeBron, pound for pound, Steph Curry and Kobe Bryant would probably be considered right up there.
Yeah, but for me, I love Kobe. Just that Mamba mentality. I feel Steph is amazing, but he's pretty. For me, the type of player I want to watch a dog.
Yeah.
And Kobe Bryant was that. He was one of the best, but he trained the hardest.
Yeah.
You could see that. You see these documentaries now of he was the first one there. He was making very, very tough conversations with everyone in his team because he was holding them accountable every single day. I love that.
You know what? I agree with you. And because of this, because Steph has had Draymond the whole time to be that version of Kobe, Kobe was like Steph and Draymond put together with Steph being the leader, but the more actions leader. And you can tell Draymond's clearly the vocal leader of the team. He's the guy that screams and yells at everyone to make sure everyone's in place. But Kobe just did that by himself.
Yep. And I also love Kobe, even with, I love Jordan, but I think Kobe's more of a team man than Jordan was. I'm a team guy, and I like that. I even though, I say he held his teammates accountable, but that's in a good way, whereas I felt Jordan was a lot about Jordan.
we'll chat a little bit about Aussie, who probably feels a little bit differently about Jordan during his time, because we're going to discuss Dyson Daniels, and then we'll discuss one of Michael Jordan's teammates as well off the back of this. Now, Instagram, this one comes from Instagram, and it comes from Ninja Fura. Dyson deserves both awards, to be honest, and I don't hate that. If I had to pick one, I'm probably going to go Defensive Player of the Year, because he's just been like, when you get the nickname the Great Barrier Thief.
That is a great nickname.
It's the best nickname of all time, by the way, and he should get the award just for the nickname. But I just think on that side of the ball this year, he improved out of sight across the board. Like, people don't give him enough credit for his assists and his rebounds and his scoring at times. He's just a silky smooth mover. He's going to be a really important player for Australia and the Boomers moving forward. And he's a legitimate, could become a legitimate like fringe all-star. That's how good he's had the season he's had.
So right now, as it sits, I've got Luke Longley as the best ever Aussie. That's me personally.
Okay. Yep.
And the reasons I say that is because he won 3 champs. And yes, he was just a role player, but he played with Michael Jordan. That's all you had to be.
Yeah.
You just had to be a role player.
He's a starter too.
And a starting role player, yeah. But you had a good point, and I want to speak about it with Benny Simmons, because I didn't think of this, but you are so right. Do you want to say what you were sort of saying?
Just his window. Like, don't think of Ben Simmons now and you know, sort of having the yips and the injuries over the years. Like, there was a period where he was an all-star for a couple of years in a row. He was putting up basically a triple-double every week, or, you know, once every fortnight. And him and Embiid were supposed to be the guys. Now, it didn't play out that way. For whatever reason, you know, he started to get gun shy and he got injuries and all that stuff happened. But there was a 3-year period where there was not only the idea of him being the face of Australian basketball, like, people were starting to think that he could be the face of the NBA, or at least a top 3, top 4 superstar of the game. Everyone was just saying, like, he just needs to work on his shooting, needs to work on his shooting. But then he just lost confidence a bit all over the shop. And then obviously the injuries impacted him. But at one point, Ben Simmons was a proper all-star in the
Sorry, but even LeBron James was saying that, wasn't he, at that time? and the only thing is exactly right what you're saying. I think of Benny Simmons now as all the off-field stuff. Yeah. But I shouldn't, because I should think about what he's done in that period. Man, he was on fire. But I'm going to say, look, we've got Patty Mills, we've got Joe Ingles,
Giddy's playing well for the Bulls.
I'm just talking about Bogut all time. But I think if Dyson Daniels at the moment, the way he's going, he could be the best.
He's trending the right way.
Yeah,
I really think he's going to be in contention for All-Star play each year, because he's going to be a perfect number 2, number 3 on a team, and then just depends on it. He's going to be a very good complementary piece for a number of years. He's being a guy you love. He doesn't necessarily need the ball to be effective in a game as well, which superstars in the NBA and guys who want to be the stars, they love playing with those sorts of guys. Can you
base a team around him, or he's just not that guy?
No, I think he's going to be the perfect Robin.
Got ya.
Yeah.
Yep, for LeBron.
Maybe a Luka, like a Luka, or Trae Young, where he is now. Like, Trae Young is so limited defensively, and he sort of doesn't do like, he's a good scorer and he's good at assisting, but he doesn't do the nitty gritty, and that's exactly what Dyson Daniels does. So they could form a really good combination for a long time if the Atlanta Hawks feel like that they're the backcourt to take them through to the future. All right, Nico Harrison, he's put his foot in again. The question is, could this trade get Nico fired? My take on his presser is he should get fired for that presser. After everything that's been said during the last couple of months, and just seeing him looking side-eyed on the court, like sitting in the stands in the court, to not understand or comprehend how important Luka was to the Mavericks, but not only the Mavericks, how he was viewed league-wide, is the reason he should be fired. Because they haven't fired him because of the trade already.
In reference to a word we use in our national game, cricket, he's got to walk. Walk.
Walk.
No, walk.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You didn't know the effect
Adam Gilchrist used to walk if he snicked it.
Walk.
Yeah.
Doncic. You didn't know the effect he had on your fans. Mate, listen, when you're getting booed by your own fans, you know now.
How don't you read the room when you get booed every time you turn up to the court?
Yeah. But the thing is, Doncic, it's not even who he was for the Mavs. Every little kid wants him on their back now.
Yeah.
He's not just like Hoz, I said in there, if that even come up as a joke, he should have shut that down ASAP. he went on with it.
Yeah, he did.
But
was he trying to be funny, you think, to begin with? And then just like, I don't know.
I'm too deep now.
Should be fired.
Still got a championship team though, he said as well.
Yeah. That's the biggest part of this whole thing, and I've said this all along. He just didn't get enough value back. If you are going to trade him because you don't like him defensively, do not trade for a historically injured Anthony Davis at 31. Anthony Davis 4 or 5 years ago, yes, big tick. Before he got to the Los Angeles Lakers, he was a proper all-star. And he continued that form to the Lakers, but he was banged up. It just didn't make sense at all to only get one piece back and not enough picks. So that's it for Nico. And hopefully, I don't very rarely say this because I never want to see people get fired, but he deserves it.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't watch this.
No, yeah, I know. No, I don't think.
Actually, I hope you do.
Yeah, no, he does.
Chucky, you're a Grub. Grub,
you trolled him at Grub.
Yeah, he's getting a Grub.
Wow.
There you go, Nico.
Walk.
Yeah.
He's got
Adam
walk.
Gilchrist, walk. Gilly's a noted walker. Let's get to this one. We're going to talk a little bit about the draft and Travis Hunter. He said in an interview that he would only go to a team that is going to play him both ways like he did in college. So the first one, they both come from Twitter. I've got two messages. One's from Babe Loffenberg. Travis Hunter is the best wide receiver in this draft and is not even close, not even remotely close. Babe, agreed. And the next one comes from Twitter, and it's from NFL Notify. Travis Hunter reminds me of peak Odell Beckham Jr. NFL Notify, agreed. I see signs of Odell, the movements. Okay. I see signs of a real talent like Odell, and I think that's a good comp. And I agree with both of these two guys. I think he should play predominantly wide receiver or every snap on wide receiver that's required, and then just a sprinkle of defense if he wants to play in a few different packages.
You're right. He's not your Tyreek Hill who's going to blow you. He's got the hands.
Yeah.
And
strong hands.
Good
route runner.
And that's why he can probably go into a team straight away with those short routes and be effective. Yep. Whereas those guys that have just got the natural speed, I don't think he's necessarily got that. But is there a team?
He's not blistering. He's fast, but he's not blistering.
Yeah. Is there a team out there though, Hoz, that is going to let him do what he wants? Because this is going to be a first ever. But what he's saying is, well, he posted on Instagram all of his trophies and what he got. He's actually thinking that he can do it on both ends. Is there a coach out there that will let him try it at least?
Well, I've got him sliding in my draft, and I've got a franchise and a coach who I think would be open to it because they've done stuff like this before. There's a little teaser. So if you know your NFL and you know the top five, I've got him sliding, and I've got him sliding to a team that would know how to utilize him best. Do you want to get into it?
Well, I just want to tell you, I don't exactly know where you got him, but I don't think Cleveland let him get past second. He is Doncic. Don't let him go.
Okay. Well, didn't Doncic slide down to about 4th or 5th pick, I think, for Atlanta, and then they had the swap with. So we'll see. Yeah. I've got a few curly ones. Ready to get to it?
Throw them at me.
All right, it's time for the pick 6 presented by Tab. But we're going to do the pick 5, and we're going to do the top 5 overall picks in order. Presented by Tab. All right, number 1, you're not going to get any value from this pick from me. It's going to be Cameron Ward out of Miami. He's going to be the number 1 pick. He is a really good talent proposition at the position, and it's going to set Tennessee up to solve everything else in the next couple of years. He's a lock, Cam Ward. Now, Travis Hunter, a lot of people agree with you, and the punters agree with you. They've got him at the 2nd overall pick. I'm going Abdul Carter out of Penn State.
Yep.
I think Abdul Carter with Myles Garrett on opposite ends would just cause absolute nightmares to Lamar Jackson, to Joe Burrow, and to whoever the Pittsburgh Steelers eventually pick to be their quarterback. Could be A-Rod. I'd hate it for A-Rod to have Abdul Carter. That's paying $7 because Travis Hunter is the $1.12 favorite. And I don't even have Travis Hunter going number 3 to the Giants. You got something to add before we move on?
So you're like, I understand that. I understand that pick though, because you're thinking the Browns are going all D. They're winning games on D.
I think with this particular pick, I think Travis Hunter is a generational talent, but I also think that of Abdul Carter. I think he's a difference maker. And I just think, imagine trying to line up and pass protect and set up your packages offensively, knowing that Abdul Carter's coming from one side and Myles Garrett's coming. Myles Garrett's been a wrecking machine in Cleveland for years by himself. Now, he's had a bit of veteran help over the years. He's had, Zadarius Smith at times. He's had Clowney at times. But he just signed for 4 or 5 years as well. So then you get a 4 or 5 year deal for Abdul Carter. You just absolutely monster teams. And that's the reason I like what Philly did, because they just loaded up on defensive linemen. Now, they went interior and then a few on the edge, but I can see that working for Cleveland. I don't expect it to happen, but that's what I would do. So, because these are all the picks that I would do. Because the tab, they're normally pretty sharp with these sorts of bets. So, no Travis Hunter going number 2 to the Cleveland Browns, which is expected. No Travis Hunter going 3. I'm going Shedeur Sanders. I'm going Shedeur. I think the Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston selections in free agency are a bit of a smokescreen. So people predict that they're going to go a different position. I think they're protecting themselves from getting jumped from other teams to come up. Everyone's expecting Shedeur Sanders to slide. I think New York Giants are the perfect team for him. Big personality, big franchise, big team. He'll handle the pressure in New York.
It's crazy. I've been listening to, podcasts and whatnot, and people have got Dart way ahead of him.
Yes, and I've seen that.
Yeah.
Look, it was Shedeur too for a long time. Then Jackson Dart. Now though, people are even talking about Shedeur sliding all the way out of the first round. Maybe teams trade up. I just reckon I'm going smokescreen on this one.
No,
so
I'm going to big team.
I'm going to take it because what you do is if you start hitting, just say you do and it doesn't go to plan and the bookies are off, then you start getting value at the other picks, and this is where you get the biggest value. So Travis Hunter, that generational talent, the Luka Doncic type that you mentioned for the NFL, he slides all the way down to 4 to the New England Patriots. So the Patriots get a guy, and they've been known before in the Bill Belichick era to have guys play multiple positions. Julian Edelman was a quarterback turned wide receiver. The coach himself, Vrabel, he was a defensive lineman that sometimes played tight end for the New England Patriots in packages. And they used to have, the name's escaping me right now, they've been using a guy who is a DB kick returner and sometimes plays wide receiver. And I am filthy that I'm forgetting the name right now. So he gets the perfect place to play both positions. I think he's a wide receiver at New England, gets Drake May a guy, and then he can also play in some packages for Vrabel on the defense as well.
Yeah, I like that. I like it.
All right, number 5. This one is a bit of a coin flip. So you've got $2.10 about Mason Graham, the DT, to go to Jacksonville, which is a position in need. People keep talking up Ashton Genty to the Jacksonville Jaguars. With all this talk about the Raiders, maybe they get a guy to run the ball and take pressure off Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to go Mason Graham. I'm going to go Mason Graham, $2.10. Number 5 overall pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So you haven't got Genty in the top 5?
No Genty in the top 5.
That's big.
Yeah, you can't play. He's a generational talent as well. I just think there's so much depth at the running back position in this draft that I wouldn't be spending a top 5 pick on a guy like Genty when you can sort of come back or maybe jump back into the first round and grab a guy like Hampton or the 2 later on from Ohio State, Judkins and
but they're nothing. They're not
Nance.
like Genty though.
But you can still get a quality running back in the 2nd or 3rd round, which is a lot of teams have done in years past.
It would help Lawrence though.
It would
having a really solid, because they were terrible this year, weren't they?
Yeah,
the Jags. So, mate,
we'll see how those play out.
I like value, I like that.
All you need is one domino to fall, and then all those $10, $15 favourites, they all start looking gettable. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm probably going to be wrong, but make sure you do it responsibly.
Yeah. And I'm going to be sitting there on Friday, just saying, drop, domino, drop.
All you need is the second one.
Just one.
If Travis Hunter doesn't go 2, then we're on. they're on. And I'm a big chance of collecting all the way through.
Do you know what that adds up to if you get it?
Oh, no, I haven't had them up. I'm just going to have a single $5 bet on all of them.
Are you going single?
Singles.
So what about if you multi them? Ho! Responsibly.
Of course.
Multi that.
Of course. I don't know. We got the multi option on there, but I'll just play the singles and see how it plays out. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
All right, that's it for this week. Playoffs are well and truly kicked off in the NBA. The NFL draft's happening on the weekend, and we'll come back and we'll review the NFL draft and see how my picks go next week.
Let's go.